Hello everybody and welcome. I'm your host Captain Awesomeness, and in this video today I'm going to talk about a lot of things, including my newfound passion for, well, something that you kind of saw me do in Pakistan. But before I do any of that, guys, let me just talk to you real quick about being back in the United States after my visit of about 2 months to Pakistan. The thing is, the 2 months that I spent over there were fun, I can put it that way. They were eye-opening in some ways, good and bad, and at the same time I also want to say that they are moments that I'm never going to forget, regardless of what they were all about. But really the most important part was I was there to participate at the Omni Karachi, I think it's called, I keep messing up the name, but at the Omni Kart facility in Karachi. There is a name, I think it's Omni Karting Circuit, but I always mess up the names. It's not the first time, it won't be the last, but yeah, that's what I was down there for. I had a great time. I enjoyed it, even though I was not able to compete in the whole racing series. It's just, you know, at least something that I'll always remember, and I don't know if I'll ever go back to Karachi, but when I ever do, obviously it's going to be at that place. And then of course I spent some time in Lahore. I also went to a couple other places. I went to a little town called Sialkot, and that was an amazing experience as well. It had been couple of decades at least before, you know, since I'd been there before. So yeah, it was overall a great experience, and I'm glad to be back in the US. I mean, I literally hit the ground running when I got back here. I wanted to get a couple things done as quick as I could, and yeah, that's where I'm at this moment. Actually, I'm also waiting to start my go-karting season, and that officially will start when I participate in my first race this year at G&J Kartway on the 24th and 25th of June. So looking forward to that, and I hope you guys are as well. Anyway, so why are we here? We are here because if you remember from one of my last videos, I was riding around in Lahore in a Honda CG125 motorcycle. A little bit of history about my motorcycling. I have done it here and there, but I had a huge 16-year gap between 2007 and 2023 because of the fact that there were some safety concerns I had, and I just couldn't get past them. However, this year something happened, and you know, some people want to call it midlife crisis, but that's not really what it is. For me, it's always been something I wanted to do, but just didn't find the time to, or the need to, or the desire to. I don't know what it is, and the desire has come back. So there's that, man. That's how I am really in summary. Anyway, so what am I here to show you guys? I'm here to show you guys one of the best motorcycles Honda has ever made, and I present to you the Honda CBR600RR. Now this, ladies and gents, is most likely one of the best four-cylinder 600cc motorcycles that are out there. This one in particular is a 2005. It belongs to a friend of mine, and here's his YouTube channel, Shazzy Motorsport. Definitely subscribe to him. And he got this a few months back, or last year, I can't remember what he had told me. Apologize, Shazzy, for that. But yeah, this is a great motorcycle. I think for the most part it is stock in terms of, you know, the body and what have you. But the only thing aftermarket that I know of is this right here. This exhaust is not like a Yoshi or a Toche or whatever it's called, but basically it is still looks pretty darn sexy. It's got this whole, you know, with the, it's only with this motorcycle that you see the exhaust on the 600RR come from underneath, so I really like the way it looks in that aspect. As for mileage, let's have a look. I've forgotten how many miles it has. 13,663 miles. I've ridden some of those miles, of course, since Shazzy has a big heart and allowed for me to ride this thing. I really like the way it feels. This might not be something for people who are in my age group to ride on. I say that because you know, as you get older, certain things you cannot do anymore, such as being flexible, and my back, some of you know, isn't always compliant with me because of my pain and injuries from a different life. But overall, I love the way this bike looks. I mean, you know, of course, two twin rotors up front for the brakes, and then of course you still have disc calipers in the back as well. It's a chain driven motorcycle, but then again, I also don't want to say too much about this. I'm just going to leave it at that. I just want to get on a ride with you guys, and that's what I'm about to do. But before we do begin, guys, I do need to talk about safety. Regardless of wherever you are in the world, safety should always be number one. And I've believed that in go-karting, in other forms of automotive racing, and I do as well for motorcycling. So basic essential minimum that you should have with you are as follows. Jeans right here, as I'm wearing, good boots that cover you all the way to the ankles. And then, more importantly, you have to have a good set of gloves, a really good jacket. This is a motorcycle jacket, a Sedici. I forget what model it is, but it is a model from Sedici. I got this, you know, stitched on my Captain Awesomeness on this side, and on the other side it says US Army. I also actually use this jacket for my go-karting stuff, and a really good helmet. So this is the Icon helmet. Some of you have seen it before, but yeah, these are the essentials that you need to have in order to make sure that you are riding, no matter how hot or cold it is. You never know when these things that are designed to actually protect you come to good use, but of course you never want to actually wish anything you know, negative upon anybody. But anyway, let's get riding on this beast. Okay, so we are on the bike. Let's get our kickstand up, put this position on the key to on, turn our pump on, basically our fuel pump. They call it a cutoff switch, but yeah, it's the same thing. It just basically cuts it out. Anyway, here we go. Let's start it up. Ooh, I love that purr. I'm gonna rev it up a couple times real quick. Yeah, this thing is a beast. But anyway, all right, let's get launching. I did make sure that my safety gear is on the way it needs to be. So let's take this ride. And right now I'm in the local high school here, the parking lot that is, and school is out for summer, and that means that I can use this area without having to worry about other traffic coming upon us. So one thing about this motorcycle is, of course, posture. As I just mentioned, you know, the back can be a little bit of an iffy thing for me. At least my back is, and I am always cautious about how much I lean or how much I stretch my back in positions that might not be good for it in the long run. All right, so right now I'm at 30 miles an hour, going around third gear or so, sitting at around well, maybe it's fourth gear, I didn't count, but yeah, I'm you know, having a good time with the way it feels. This is probably one of the best kinds of bikes to be on once you have grown accustomed to you know, being on a motorcycle, being comfortable with that idea. The reason I say that is because 600cc bike as a first motorcycle, especially if you have no experience, can turn out to be a little dangerous for you. So that's why I think it's a good idea that you start on something small. I started on a I think it was a 250cc motorcycle, a Kawasaki, but it's been so long I don't even remember what it was. It belonged to a friend of mine that I served with, and yeah, I had it for a short amount of time, had a close call with a certain situation, and offered to sell it back to them. So that was the end of that for me when it comes to motorcycling for, you know, 16 years, like I said. But now I'm pretty confident. Anyway, so once you get used to the idea of being in a sport bike, you know, you have to remember you have to have a certain posture. Your thighs need to kind of crush on the gas tank. You need to have a posture where your arms are a little bit parallel to the road, and what that does is it makes for a lot less of a painful situation for your back. What you're trying to do is ease off the stress from it. And then when you ride, of course, you want to make sure, you know, you're always keeping an eye out for people who may not see you. So as I come across intersections, which by the way happen to be one of the most dangerous places for a motorcycle, I'm looking left and right every single time. I might not be moving my head all that much, but my eyes are always looking. So that is something again that adds to your own benefit in terms of safety. How does this thing feel otherwise as well? I mean, thing is, you know, this is a motorcycle that is designed for racing. It is not really, you know, designed with street ability in mind. So that's one thing that you have to kind of consider when it comes to how the suspension is and how the overall feel is with this bike. So, you know, having said that, don't be surprised if you feel as if things are a little bit different compared to, say, riding a Honda CG125. Now, I'm not trying to do any kind of high RPM run here because I'm in a residential area, and the last thing I want to do is put myself at risk or, you know, kids at risk. Just not something that I would ever see myself doing. Another thing for safety also, make sure that you're looking behind you a lot. I see a white Tesla behind me, Model 3. Hopefully they are smart enough to keep their distance from me, but you have to kind of sometimes you know, watch out for people who just do dummy moves. What else can I say about this bike? I mean, oh, I did forget there's another aftermarket modification, and it's this windshield. It's a tinted windshield. But beyond that, that's it, really. This thing is amazing the way it feels. I don't even know why anybody want to, you know, do any kind of performance mods on it like a Power Commander, because I think the power that it delivers in stock form, outside of just the exhaust for sound purposes, is great. But then again, you know, maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. I've never actually raced in motorcycles, so I can't really say. For me, it's more of an enthusiasm, you know. And as far as even buying one, I'm considering buying something like this, and most likely just this, the CBR600RR. But I also have motorcycle cruisers on my mind as well. And that's just because, again, you know, when it comes to comfort and, let's be honest, age, a cruiser is going to be a lot less forgiving. You get to sit upright. You don't have to worry about, you know, the pace at which the motorcycle picks itself up and all that other jazz that goes along with it. Still, some of the safety concerns continue to remain, but other than that, you know, a cruiser is great, especially with the fact that I'm planning on doing a lot of it with my wife. So I just don't think this is going to, a sport bike is going to be probably an easy thing for both of us to kind of, you know, go on. Here, I'll just go up to 6,000. Yeah, feels great. And I'm not trying to break no speed limits here, so. But yeah, I love the way this thing feels. I don't know if you can hear a lot of the wind noise. It is pretty windy today, and I'm trying to be as careful and adjust to the wind as much as possible. It's not really like super fast or breezy, but still, you know, just enough to kind of make me feel like I'm getting pushed a little to the right so the wind's coming from the left. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this bike. I like it, but I want to buy it. And I just have to think about, you know, like I said, is my back gonna do anything about, you know, screaming at me for riding this thing? One thing I can tell you right now, my back feels okay. It's this hand of mine, the throttle side of it, that just continues to go to sleep. And I'm not like, you know, like putting my arms down on it or anything. It's just that I think it's just my little carpal tunnel that's causing a little bit of this numbness to happen. I'm really not gripping anything tight, and despite that, I'm feeling it. So I don't know what to do about that. We'll have to find a fix. All right, we're coming up to a red light. I have a vehicle behind me. Hopefully they see me. I'm always worried about this one thing. So let's kind of, yep, they are maintaining their lane, or keeping their distance rather, and so far everything is good. Since we're taking a right turn, we should get away from at least heavy traffic. It's about 3 p.m. People are starting to, you know, get off of their jobs, so that means it'll get busier and busier out there. So anyway, yeah, I really don't have much details to say about this motorcycle other than what I've just shared. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a great platform to have once you kind of get confident around a motorcycle. And if you're at a later stage in life like I am, in your 40s, I mean, you really have to consider a lot of things when you buy something like this. Comfort being number one, well, safety being number one, comfort being second, and then third, you know, cost. It will be a little bit more expensive to maintain, just slightly more, not very much more than a cruiser, but really is insurance where you get hit a lot, since most of the people who buy these things are younger men who love to mess with speed. So because of them, older guys like us who are a lot more responsible have to pay for it. Fuel costs as well. This thing is going to require refueling at maybe a higher pace than a cruiser. You know, I think this does maybe 48 miles a gallon, and then on a cruiser I could probably get like 70 plus miles per gallon. So there's that. So yeah, all these things you have to consider when you buy something like this. So take your time, don't rush in anything. And yeah, that's about all I have, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next Apex. Bye bye.